everyone, Lisa here from Elite Leadership and Wellness Solutions. Today I wanted to create this video. I was searching for just some wellness topics to discuss, and this one came up on the news yesterday, and the whole world was talking about it. As you can see for the title of this video, I want to discuss when President Trump discussed that this study that links autism with women who are pregnant who are taking Tylenol or paracetamol, which is what they have in the UK or Europe. So I want to talk about this. I pulled up the actual studies. Let's move on behind the hype. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and we can talk about this. Give me a moment. Right there. Okay. Okay, so this is the story that I was reading yesterday. So, Trump links autism and Tylenol during pregnancy without conclusive evidence. And then, yeah, so basically, I'm just going to summarize it. I guess someone advised him that this one study showing that it could be a possible link of autism connected to, women who are pregnant taking Tylenol. Firstly, he's not in a position to assess the thoroughness of the study. What kind of study was it? How many participants? What do the other studies show? So with my education in nursing, during my whole program, when we wrote a paper or wrote an assignment, we had to thoroughly cite and reference everything from a study, but it had to be relevant, it had to be credible, it had to be peer reviewed. So I'm actually going to share the study that when Trump made this statement. I'm just quickly going on down here. Is there anything else I want to add? No. Yeah, like yesterday I was shocked, just like the whole medical and nursing community were. It's, yeah, it's just very shocking. So where is that? So the study is from Mount Sinai. It's from August. So what the researchers highlighted here have found prenatal exposure to acetaminophen may increase the risk of neurodeveloping disorders in autism spectrum, ADHD in children. And they use this, okay. Yeah, it's also known as paracetamol outside of the US and Canada. Yeah, Tylenol is the most commonly used pain reliever, fever reliever during pregnancy, and used by more than half of pregnant women worldwide. So they assessed 46 studies incorporating data, 100,000 participants across multiple countries. Okay, so what's it actually showing? So they said our findings show that higher quality studies are more likely to show a link between increased autism. But they're saying potentially more studies. But here we go. This is the part that people are seem to be forgetting. Well, the study does not show that acetaminophen directly causes neurodevelopment disorders. The research team's findings strengthen the evidence for a connection and raise concern about current clinical practices. And the researchers call for a cautious, time-limited use of acetaminophen during pregnancy and until is better to balance of the, sorry. Researchers call for cautious, time-limited use. So basically what it's saying is only use Tylenol for a limited amount of time, how it's directed on the bottle, on the supervision of a doctor or medical professional to balance the benefits versus the risks. Yeah, pregnant women should not be stopped taking this medication. So there's that study. But then this study, so firstly, before we leave this one, how many participants were in this study? Okay, 100,000 participants across multiple countries. So keep that number in mind while I compare the other study. So the other study here, much larger study from JAMA, the Journal of a Medical Association. So their question in this study was, does acetaminophen or Tylenol used during pregnancy increase children's risk of neurodevelopment disorders? And so let's look at their numbers. Here we go. So this study in Sweden looked at a population base of 2 million. So remember the other 100,000? 2,480,797 children born between 1995 and 2019 in Sweden, with follow-up through December 31 and 2021. So that's a huge time frame, and that's a huge base. That's a huge number compared to this one was what, 100,000. And they just compared different studies. Like they didn't go over like 20-year spans. So you see the difference there. And the results. So it said in total, I'm just rounding here, 186,000 children, maybe about 8%, were exposed to Tylenol during pregnancy. Okay, let's get the conclusion. So it said acetaminophen, or otherwise known as Tylenol, or paracetamol in Europe, so when they used it when someone was pregnant, it was not associated with children's risk of autism, ADHD, or an intellectual disability in this study. So this is a huge number. Like 2 million children are studied, and I trust Sweden's results because the EU, they have the highest standards in the world for everything, including science and research. So this is inconclusive of this study. And so, of course, this made the headlines all around the world. And if you're on anywhere like X, people are like, oh, now it's causing autism, this and that. You need to know how to critically assess these studies, how thorough they were. And you can't just go by one study and then, because even the study itself said, no, this is not, there's no causation there. It's not showing that like Tylenol is causing autism by pregnant mothers who take it. So, and then today, let's see. What is it? From Reuters. Yeah, the European Union and the World Health Organizations, they're countering what Trump was saying, of course, because we still have enough evidence. Or like pregnant women should not be taking it. And I was just reading this earlier today. Yeah, the EU and the British health authorities confirmed on Tuesday the safety of paracetamol or Tylenol during pregnancy, disputing a warning that Trump linked the popular pain medication of autism. Yeah, the World Health Organization said that evidence linked remained inconsistent and urged caution in drawing conclusions. You can't, see, science is not always black and white. You can't just say, okay, this study showed this, so we're going to go this way. Further research is needed. And then on Monday, let's see what it says. Trump linked autism to childhood vaccines and use of Tylenol by women when pregnant, elevating claims by scientific evidence. And also, I was reading that Trump was saying, where is it? I pulled the study. Measles, mumps, rubella should not be taken together. In my nursing education, I learned about the vaccine schedules. And what I learned also doing my own research, because I was wondering how people, this is kind of going off topic of Tylenol, but it's still in the realm of, health and safety protocols. Some people say, oh, having 3 vaccines all at once, that's a lot. Like maybe we should break it up. It causes more stress. But the research and the data shows when a child gets 1 vaccine versus 3, it's the same amount of stress. It's not, basically it's not increasing the stress level. So by breaking it up, that's increasing the stress level. Because if you get 1 vaccine, that's worse because you're re-stressing the child or the infant every time you're bringing child in to be vaccinated. This was mentioned too, that the link of autism. So this vaccination in autism cohort study, because they want to evaluate the vaccine if it increases the risk for autism in children. And so this was also in Denmark, so another really good study, because do your research, don't just trust what I'm saying, but European Union has the highest standards for health and science in the world. So they know what they're doing. And so the participants, those 657,461 children born in Denmark. So from 1999 through 31 December 2010, with follow-up from 1 year of age through August 31, 2013. What were the results? Yeah, here we go. No increased risk for autism after the MMR vaccine was consistently observed in subgroups of children defined the history of autism. Basically, it's saying there was no increased risk. So this is another study that, I don't know, some people are forgetting about, or they're not understanding the data. They're just making these claims. That's really scary because people will follow that and won't understand it. And so I think the bottom line I was trying to say is, with this new study, yeah, it's good to understand that, and okay, but more research is needed. So if you're pregnant, it's better to discuss your concerns with a registered health professional that you trust. Same thing, anything with vaccines, with medications, anything related to your health. Talk to a health professional that you trust, because they have the latest knowledge, the latest information, they have to keep up with the latest studies. Because at the end of the day, like, politicians don't really have a right they don't have the actually education or scope to make these claims, and just, they don't understand the studies behind it. They don't have the education behind it. So that's why the European Union, the World Health Organization, even Health Canada, they're still saying it's still safe. The evidence still shows it does not cause that until otherwise. So that's why it's a good conversation to have with your doctor or your health professional that you trust. And I wanted to bring up an interesting point. Like, if you're going to go this way, be cautious, like, oh, maybe it causes it and we should be concerned and this and that. What about this, USA? There's foods in the US that are banned in Europe for additives. So if you're going to look at Tylenol, and the studies show that they cause harm, why aren't you removing this from the food supply? Let's just look. Yeah, it might surprise you to learn that many food additives found in bread, baked goods, and candy manufactured in the United States are banned or restricted in Europe and other parts of the world because of potential health risks. U.S. consumers generally assume that items on grocery store shelves have been vetted for safety, but a loophole in the approval process in the U.S. Food and Drug Administration means 99%, look at this, 99% of new food chemicals aren't evaluated before they're added to products. That shouldn't make you angry. And start reading labels, people. Like, how do I know? Read the labels. And this is what was been taught to me a long time ago when I was learning about nutrition. It's better to shop around the outside of a grocery store or a supermarket, because that you're going to have your vegetables, your fresh meat, poultry, chicken, dairy, the aisles. That's where all your processed foods are. And a lot of times when you're reading these labels, they're really long. And if you can't pronounce it, most likely it's not really good for you. Like this, titanium dioxide. This is food coloring found in many food products such as Skittles, Starburst candies, baked goods, soup, broth, sauces. Yeah, European regulators have banned this since 2022 based on studies, not just one study. See here again, based on studies, so numerous studies that shown it to be genotoxic. Basically not good for you. University of Washington in Seattle. Because it has the ability of chemicals, substance to damage your DNA. Isn't that scary? Damage your DNA. So these should be banned from the US market. All this stuff I haven't heard of. Potassium bromate. It's added to white flour pizza rolls. I'm not gonna read this whole thing, but I'm just gonna go through it, skim through it. Researchers have also found that exposure to potassium bromate cause mutations in yeast DNA, and footprints of those changes are found in samples of human esophageal stomach and colorectal cancer. Like, although it doesn't mean the chemicals directly cause cancer, but it might damage human DNA. Like, that's not good. Um, like, look, all these chemicals, like, I can't even pronounce. You got to read the labels, people, and, know what you're putting into your body. Look at this recombinant bovine growth hormone. Who wants that in their body? Like, I don't. There are brands of hormone-free dairy available, but there are many still contact them. Food dye is like a yellow, red, number 6. Vegetable oil, like that. Vegetable is the worst thing for you. Be like, oh, vegetables. No. It's actually one of the worst things you can have. Although a 2024 FDA banned vegetable oil after results of studies. Yeah, but that was like last year they banned it. Why are they wait so long? But this part is the part. It's not all doom and gloom. This part is good. Consumers' preference is helping reduce food additive use. You have the power, so stop buying this junk. No one, it's not going to be on the shelves. Like, manufacturers are paying attention to some of these issues because now their consumers are saying we don't want these in the foods. Yeah, not because they want to, because money talks, right? Not because they know it's bad for you, because no one's going to buy it. Yeah, almost every manufacturer has a natural alternative product line or acquired one for their portfolio. I don't think there's a trend toward paying attention to these kinds of things. But it's only because people aren't buying it. Not like they care and want to make a healthier product. Yeah, that's just what I was saying. So what you can do is like how to minimize potential risks from food additives. Yeah, it leaves much of the work to the consumer. Like I said, opt for fresh or frozen. Frozen is still good too. Actually, frozen sometimes has a lot more vitamins because they freeze it at the peak of freshness versus fresh. And then, often people forget about in the fridge, it goes bad. So frozen, that's good. Opt for fresh or frozen fruits and vegetables whenever possible. Focus on different kinds of fresh fruit, produce, move away from processed foods. That's what you have to do, people. You have to start eating real food. Shop on the outside of the grocery store. So let's say, yeah, this is everything I've said already. Read product labels, know what you're consuming in your body, and know what it means. So you got to educate yourself. Buy organic. I know not everyone can, but if you can, and if you can afford it, even like 1 or 2 things like organic, you can taste the difference when you don't have all these chemicals on your food. Because I've seen, was it videos of when they're spraying that stuff on food, like on farms, they're wearing a mask. That shows you why they have to wear masks. If that chemical could harm them, well, what do you think it's doing to the food and doing to you when you consume it? Yeah, you want to avoid hormones. Organic milk. Although humans are the only ones that drink milk. Other species don't drink it after they've been weaned, but that's a different topic. Yeah, many food additives are banned in Europe, such as bottom line, the only reason I'm bringing all this stuff up is if leaders of countries want to jump the gun on studies, like, no, now this causes autism, then, and there's not a lot of evidence to back it up, one study, but there's lots of studies backing up these chemicals, additives cause cancer or potential to alter your DNA. So what's going on here? It's just it's good to question everything and get your information from trusted sources, from licensed health professionals. I'm trying to think of anything else I want to say about this. But yeah, bottom line, like the study in Sweden versus like was it over 2 million children that I looked at versus this 100,000, and over the time span of like 95 to 2019, that's a long time. I trust European Union's guidance over the current, leadership in USA. Let me know if you like these type of videos, me discussing health news topics, trends, and because I go, you see these headlines, you need to read beyond the hype, beyond the fluff, and the data of what is going on, what's being said, what's not being said. All right, I'm gonna, I think, wrap it up there. Thank you very much, everyone. My information is below in this video if you're interested in a private session with me. Um, Subscribe to my channel, comment if you want to see more wellness tips, strategies, just general information that can improve your life. All right, thank you. I'll end this video here.